Hello people, my name is Ziamullah and welcome to Yes We Can. Guys, do you know one of the biggest element which actually shapes your personality, your professional life, your personal life, your career and even your success is how effectively you manage your time. Yes, today's topic is how successful people manage their time. But before I get into those amazing tips, let us talk about what are the reasons for our failure in managing the time. Let's do a self-analysis. Do we spend a lot of time or too much time on the internet? Do we surf a lot? Do we spend a lot of time surfing online? For example, it's 10 o'clock in the night, you're done with your dinner, you're about to sleep, but just before that, you grab your cell phone and you start surfing online. You start surfing the internet. And by the time you want to sleep, you check the time, it's 3:30 or 4 in the morning. Has it ever occurred to you? Or does it happen pretty often? If yes, then we are failing in managing the time. Because when you sleep late, you get up late and the next day is pretty much hampered. Do you take a lot of breaks at work? If yes, then we are failing in managing the time. Do you multitask? Are you swamped all the time with a lot of work at work? Then yes, and if you're not able to multitask correctly, then yes, we are failing in managing the time. One of the major reasons for our failure is procrastination. Do you procrastinate? When I say procrastinate, what I mean is, do you tend to postpone your daily activities to some other time of the day? For example, you had to make that important phone call at 10 o'clock in the morning and then you decide, let me make it at 12 noon. 12 noon you decide it's lunchtime, let me make it at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock is decide, let me make that phone call before going home. 5:30 you decide, it's too late for me to make that phone call. Let me make it tomorrow. So what did we just do? We procrastinated our work. If that is the reason, we are majorly failing in managing the time. So let's look into the tips. Let's look into how successful people manage the time. Tip number 1, identify the barriers to your time management. There can be multiple barriers, there can be multiple distractions to your time management. Those barriers can be your phone. You'll be surprised to know this. Do you know in metropolitan cities where we live, people tend to check their phone every 3 minutes. They'll check their WhatsApp, they'll check their Insta, they'll check their Facebook, they'll check anything and everything on the internet. They'll just keep touching the cell phone after every 3 minutes. I'm talking about a general survey, the general theory, right? So is phone one of my barrier to time management? Do I have a habit of, checking my phone a lot? The second barrier could be, a lot of breaks at work. Try and identify if I'm taking a lot of breaks. Gaming, online surfing, online shopping, window shopping can be multiple barriers to effective time management. So if that is the case, identify the barriers. Step number 2. Step number 2, which is considered to be the most amazing and the most effective way of managing the time amazingly well, is something called as Brahma Muhurta. I'm sure most of you have already heard about this, most of you are already practicing it, but for those who are hearing this for the first time, Brahma Muhurta is the earliest time of the day. Okay, it is considered to be the auspicious time, the most auspicious time of the day. We call it as Tahajjud time because that time is the best time to gain knowledge. That is the best time to get the work done. So what is Brahma Muhurta? What is the right time? Okay, as we always say, if you really want to be really successful, try to get up at Brahma Muhurta time. What is Brahma Muhurta? Brahma Muhurta is a time which is approximately, listen to this carefully, approximately Brahma Muhurta starts at 1.5 hours before the sunrise, and it ends approximately 45 minutes before the sunrise. I'll make it simple for you to understand. Let's suppose, okay, let's take an example. The sunrise is scheduled to be at 6 in the morning. So when does the Brahma Muhurta starts? 1.5 hours before 6 a.m. So it is somewhere 4:30 in the morning. And Brahma Muhurta time ends 45 minutes before the sunrise. So it ends at 5:15. So what is the exact Brahma Muhurta time, or what is the exact Tahajjud time? Any time after 4 in the morning, 4:30 to 5:15 to be more precise, is the Brahma Muhurta time. So second step, most important step, is practice Brahma Muhurta. What I'm saying is, try and get up at 4:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. You'll be amazed to know how much work can be done at this time. You have no clue about it. Try practicing it, because when you do that, see, the best thing, why it is called the best time, because everybody is sleeping during that time, so there is no distraction. Keep your phone aside, okay? You can do meditation, you can do yoga, you can offer your prayers, you can do anything. That is the best time. You're completely fresh during that time, and when your brain is completely fresh, you can actually inculcate lot of knowledge. You can get your work done. If there's any back office work, or if there's any administrative work, sending those emails, making the proposal, writing down those important proposals, etc., etc., it can be done at the Brahma Muhurta time. And believe me, if you start following this, you will see a massive difference in how well and how disciplined you would be after practicing Brahma Muhurta. So second step is practice Brahma Muhurta. Most of the successful people, they do this. All right. Step number 3, practice time boxing. I'm not saying this boxing. I'm saying box it, freeze it. Time boxing is actually one of the best way of effectively managing your time. What you are doing here is that you are planning well ahead, and you're freezing your time for the next day on what all activities you're supposed to execute. This is the best way of managing the time. Let's say today is Wednesday, right? So what are my plans for the next day, for Thursday? So what I'll do, I'll write it down. I'll start my day at 9 in the AM, 9 to 10, this is what I'm going to do. 10 to 12, this is what I'm going to do. This is my lunch time. This is what I'm going to do post 2 p.m. This is what I'm going to do around 5 o'clock. Write it down, guys. This is called time boxing. What you're doing here is that you are freezing your future time well in advance, so that you're well prepared and you push yourself towards achieving with a lot of discipline. In one of the interviews, Mark Zuckerberg was asked this question, how do you manage your time so effectively? He says, I practice a lot of time boxing. So this is something what successful people do. So try doing that. Next step, prioritize your task, guys. Prioritize it. You have multiple tasks to be executed in a day's time. So prioritize it. The priority can be done on 2 things, important and urgent. Urgent and important. Not urgent but important. So you need to figure it out. You need to find out what is the most urgent work, what is the most important work, and prioritize your day. Okay, and do not multitask. It can perhaps, some people are naturally really good at multitasking. Some people are, they try to multitask, but some people they fail in multitasking. So if multitasking is not your cup of tea, I would rather suggest avoid multitasking, because what would happen, you would try doing a lot of multitasking, and eventually none of the work will be executed. So avoid multitasking. The next step is set measurable time-bound goals, guys. Very, very important. So what I want you guys to do is that you write down what all activities you're planning to execute in a particular day's time. And when you write down those activities, I want you to set goals right in front of the activity, that how much time you would need to execute this particular activity. For example, you're a sales guy, you have to make 20 calls. So write down 20 calls, and right in front of it, okay, right in front of it, how much time you would need to make those 20 calls. 1 hour, 1.5 hours. Because this is what happens, when you start writing your goals, there are very high chances that you achieve it. So, and then you'll be, mentally more forced and focused, and you'll be more disciplined to achieve those 20 calls in 1 or 1.5 hours. So this would really, really help. If you are a student, write down your goals. For example, if you want to pit-pat learn the entire lesson, some important short notes or any notes, important notes for your exams, write down that this subject I'm going to take this much time. So if you start writing some measurable and time-bound goals, it will really, really help you to achieve it. So these were certain amazing tips what successful people follow every single day. And I would really, really appreciate if you could start following this, start implementing this, and you will yourself will start seeing the difference in how effectively you will manage your time. So with that thought, I'll sign off for the day. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. And please do subscribe, like, share, and comment. Please do subscribe. All the best. Take care.